Hi, I'm Katie Carey with the Home for Healing Arts. Today's topic is spiritual deaths. Sounds like fun, huh? So spiritual death is part of the life-death-rebirth journey that is cyclically playing out in our lives. And it's not something that's particularly fun to go through, but it is something that moves us forward, that helps us evolve and grow, and really, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing that just feels horrible while you're going through it. I've been through many pretty intense spiritual deaths, and I have never enjoyed it, but it has always taken me somewhere better. It has always led me closer to wholeness. It has always led me to deeper relationship with the divine. So now I approach death more willingly. I surrender to it quicker than I did when I was younger and had less experience. But I want to make sure you understand that I still hate it. It's still really dreadful, and I still kick and scream and throw temper tantrums, and I yell, and I say fuck this shit a lot. But as I'm doing that, I'm also surrendering to the process and understanding that shouting fuck this shit is part of the process. So a spiritual death is going to be unique to the individual and also to the space that that individual is in at the time. The deaths that I went through as a teenager and in my 20s and in my 30s, the early 30s, those have all been very different experiences, but they hold some similarities. And one of the similarities is that you kind of get into a funk. Things don't feel right. Something has to make you move. You know, they say the only way we change is for things to get so bad that we can no longer, that the change is less scary than staying the way things are. And in a lot of ways, that is truth. So when life starts feeling really hard, and not just hard like, oh, I have a lot of hard things I need to get done, this is challenging, but like on an internal sensory level, it just feels, ugh, something's off, something's wrong. I don't feel connected, I don't feel grounded, I don't feel centered, and we all have different ways of feeling those things, and some of those are going to come easier. For me, it's a lot easier to get centered than it is to get grounded, and the opposite is going to be true for another person. So if things are feeling really off, if things are starting to feel kind of dark, and I use a lot of imagery, that symbolism is kind of my first language. So when I talk about it, I talk about darkness and being in a cave or being underwater, or what else have I done? Having a fire burnt out. These are really visceral images for me. They speak what I'm going through, and are a good way for me to process through and understand the journey that I'm on. So we'll use the metaphor of a path, which is a great metaphor in my opinion. I love the path metaphor, the journey. So if you're on your path and you're walking along and things are going pretty well and you're doing what you need to do, one foot in front of the other, and then you get to a place and it's going to be let's say a thicket of briars, and you start feeling your clothes caught and you're getting kind of pulled back and down, or suddenly it's nighttime and there are weird glowy eyes in the bushes and odd sounds, and you feel really alone, and like you felt protected just a moment ago, and now things just feel scary, and there might be some sorrow, some longing, some sadness, some anger, fear. So when you're in that kind of state, it's possible that you're going through a spiritual death. So there's a couple ways to go about this when you're confronted with a spiritual death. A common way is to go, oh no, I'm not going in there. That's stupid. I'm going to go back the way I came. And that's a totally legit response, but that means that you're going to have to, you're not going to progress. You're going to go back, and probably you're going to be confronted at another point with another opportunity to die, to go through a death in order to be reborn, because I think we want to be reborn. We want to evolve. We want to further ourselves. So, if you decide now, you might actually just like suddenly you're in that thicket of briars, like suddenly you're there, and you didn't choose it, and you didn't even remember stepping into this area, but suddenly it's grown around you. There's that too. And then you kind of have to move forward. You can sit down in that thicket and refuse to move, and honestly, that's even part of the process. Oftentimes is to just sort of collapse into a heap and refuse to move for a little while, and maybe weep a little and feel really sorry for yourself. But eventually you're going to have to get up. You've got to get up and move forward. And if you're in a thicket of briars, you're going to have to move through briars. You're going to have to figure out how to move so that your clothes don't get caught, or you might have to just take off your jacket. You might have to go about it in a different way. You might have to wear different clothes. You might have to find some new defenses. And you might have to get help. And help often is sort of like just off to the side. I think when we need help, it is in our vicinity. We just have to look up. We can't be down, mourning our situation. We have to look up and look for where that help is. Who is around us? Who can offer a word of advice? Who has left a gift for us? A new pair of pants. Perfect. I needed a new pair of pants. Or someone who can give you a boost, a lift, offer a hand to pull you out. And then you can move through where you were, forward through this thicket and come out the other side. And probably you're going to be a little cut up, a little scratched, maybe a little bloody, probably pretty dirty, but you'll be okay. You'll be alive. And not only will you be alive, but you will be alive in a new way. You will be reborn out of a thicket, and able to be in the world in a new way, to perceive the world in a new way and perceive yourself in a new way. And then you go along your path, and you'll probably have another opportunity to die, because that's how it works. That's like the mythic cycle that we live, as a culture, as a world, as an individual, is life, death, rebirth. So, another way you can do a death entry is when you see death coming, and generally this is going to be one or two deaths in before you're able to be like, oh yeah, that's totally a spiritual death coming at me. And you can surrender to the process. So in this case, it would be like, all right, that's a thicket of briars. I know I want to be on the other side of that. I can't really go around it or over it or under it, so I'm going to go through it, but I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to wear heavier clothes. I'm going to bring a snack. I'm going to look for where someone's gone before me and utilize their clearing away of the path. And then you can get through that death a little easier. I really want to emphasize, though, that just because you've surrendered, just because I'm saying easier, it still sucks ass. That's just how death is. Death is not a fun thing. If it's a fun thing, it's probably not death. You have to feel like you're dying. It's a transition, and so you can't fake it. You got to go. Now, you can fake it for a little while you kind of get in the groove, but when it comes down to it, you got to do the work. You got to move forward. You've got to befriend the animals. You've got to answer the riddles. You have to do the work in order to get through, and you can get through. Now, often we want someone to show us how to get through. And if you have the opportunity to have someone kind of give you some good guidance, point out what the dangers are, maybe, throw you a lifeline when you need it, get you a rope if you're trying to get over the cliff. It's good to have kindred spirits or wise people who have gone before and understand how these transitions work. So if you need some help, I have a couple things that I do with the people I work with to get them through these spiritual transitions. The first one is kind of an intense process, but it really gets you moving. It is a one-on-one guide through the transition, get you through the darkness, move you through that thicket, get you out of the pit, that kind of a metaphor. So in this, what I do is it's a 6-week process, which is a nice amount of time to be able to be spacious and intentional about your work. And we start with a 1-hour session, and I'll do a tarot reading for you. I'll do an in-depth customized reading that gives a really great overview of what is happening in your heart mind. What kind of issues are you dealing with that are needing to be confronted, needing to be resolved? And then that leads to a dialogue about what this death looks like. And then that's followed by 4 weeks of our one-on-one conversations over Skype or over the phone. And we start mapping your journey. We complete mapping your journey as well. We map out where are you? What is this landscape? What's the topography? What are the dangers and what are the gifts? And how do you identify them? Sometimes part of our journey is discovering, oh, that is a poisonous plant. And last time I thought it was a healing remedy and I took it and it was not a good idea. I'm going to avoid that. And then so I can say, oh, but you might try this instead, because that's just right over there across the road. And then you get to have something to help you move through quicker, feeling a little more uplifted, a little more confident. And then the sixth session for us will be another tarot reading, so that we can get a gauge of where do you go from here. And when you're reborn, it's not like an there's some going on, but it's difficult to re-enter after being in the dark. It's difficult to re-enter the world. Because suddenly you've got new qualities and new ways of seeing, and you're not the same. So you have to re-enter and kind of figure out how you now operate in the physical world. And so that's what that sixth session is about. Now, each week during our session together, we identify your goals and how you want to be moving through them and how you want to accomplish them. And then I do a half-hour Reiki session for you later in the week to support those goals. And Reiki is really amazing. It's just a fabulous, fabulous healing modality. And during those sessions, we will balance your chakras. We can release energy that is no longer serving you. We can heal you on all levels. And all of this is you. You're doing all this work. I'm just supporting it. I'm helping you better allow for that healing to occur. But I'm magic in my own ways, but I'm not magic. I'm not enacting this healing. You're enacting this healing because that's what we do. We can heal ourselves, and we are meant to participate in healing ourselves. So I'm not doing anything besides supporting and guiding and giving you a pat on the back or a kick in the butt. That's what I'm doing. Now, maybe you don't need 6 weeks of intense one-on-one interaction. Maybe you just need a boost. Maybe you just need someone to throw a rope over and pull you up. Maybe you just need someone to give you a leg up. So I do offer something, Boost Your Spirit, which is where we do a 3-week process. And it's similar to the Birth Your Spirit, but it's more condensed, and it's more just giving you tools to get shit done yourself. So we'll meet the first time. You'll have your tarot reading in which we identify some issues that need to be worked through, and then there'll be 2 follow-up two follow-up sessions in which we discuss how we're going to work through, get you through whatever you're working through. And all 3 weeks will be supported with a 15-minute Reiki session to clear your energy, get you balanced, and on your way. So those are two options that you can take advantage of that will get you moving energetically and give you the confidence to get through these spiritual deaths, which still suck, but they suck less because you have someone on your team, you have someone on your side, and you have someone ahead of you going, oh, this way's good, this is a pretty clear area, don't go over there, that is a nasty raccoon, and he will bite you. So I can help you out with that stuff. No nasty raccoons. When I work with someone, I want us both to feel great after a session, and generally, that's how my sessions go. Even when we're working through hard, challenging, icky stuff, at the end of a session, we feel good because we've gotten somewhere. We've moved forward, or we've sat up, or we've just laughed really hard about how ridiculous truth can be. I'd be happy to work with you as you navigate your spiritual transition and move on your path. Blessings on your journey.